Do you know the Wheelbarrow Test? If not, we're going to talk about it on today's podcast. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We've realized life is a dance. The ups and downs can spin you out of your mind, but it's time to take back control. It's time to become a lifer. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We are a new breed of overachievers. Emotional mastery is our journey, and unlocking our full potential is the key. Welcome to the journey. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. I'm so glad you joined me today. Thank you so much for subscribing and being a lifer in this journey. We hope you're out there doing great things and doing what you need to improve your world, your life, and transition and take your life to the next level. And so many of you are doing that, and we're so excited that you have committed to listening to the podcast and committed to taking at least one little piece of something that you can learn every single day that you listen to take your life to the next level and really figure out how to become that better person. You see, nobody can make you feel anything, right? You remember that from the Lifer's Creed. If you haven't heard that, go back to that episode and listen to the Lifer's Creed. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the Wheelbarrow Test. And this is fun. Try to say wheelbarrow a whole bunch of times fast. It really messes with your head. Anyway, it sounds really weird because I've said it out loud too many times now. But the Wheelbarrow Test, what is this? Well, let's talk about this thing called a nominalization. Oh, okay, hold on. I know I'm getting technical. Just hang on for just a second, okay? I'm not going to go too crazy. Okay, maybe a little bit, but this is important. So a nominalization, what this is when you take a verb and turn it into a noun. Okay, so it's that simple. You take a verb and turn it into a noun. So let's take an easy one so you get where I'm coming from. Let's take decision, right? So we're going to take the word decision and we say, okay, have you made a decision? So you can make a cupcake and you can make a decision. So what happened to the word decision? Well, the word decision essentially was a verb, and it was to decide, and that's simple, right? But we took that verb to decide and we said, okay, I'm going to make a decision because it's easier to talk about as a noun. We turn it into a thing, and what we oftentimes do is we give that decision its own life, its own entity, and we distort it. It becomes an abstract noun. See, a noun is typically a person, a place, or a thing. We know that. And the idea is that I have this, I have this checkbook. Okay, great. That is a noun. I have this mouse. That's a noun. It's a thing. I can handle it. In fact, if I get 20 of those things, I can put those into a wheelbarrow. I have this pen. And that pen is a noun. A pen is a noun. It's a thing, right? I can put those into a wheelbarrow and take it with me wherever I go. And so that's the wheelbarrow test, is that can you put it into an actual wheelbarrow and roll it away? Right? And so let's talk about that decision. To decide is the verb, and we say decision is a noun. And the idea of that noun is, can you put a decision into a wheelbarrow? Now, some of you out there that love semantics are going, well, I can figure out, I can make a decision, okay, bear with me, okay? We are talking about linguistics. I love language, and I love to talk about how we communicate to ourselves, because we do know that the quality of our communication is the quality of our life. It's the quality of our world. Our ability to communicate is our ability to have a good quality life. Right? So if we can communicate better, well, this is one of those things, because sometimes when we make a decision, we all of a sudden take that decision and it is now something that's personal, right? Because this will sound funny, so bear with me, but we make babies, right? And all of a sudden that baby is ours. And it's precious, and we raise it and we teach it and we turn it into a functioning live human being that has a life, and we are proud of that thing that we made. We as bakers, I'm not a baker, but we as bakers make a cake, And it's our special chocolate cake, and it's rich and it's perfect. And we spent years coming up with the perfect recipe, and we make it a thing, and we love the thing. And that cake becomes something that we can take with us. And it's now personal, but it's easy because we talk about the cake and we go, here's a piece of this cake, here's a piece of this cake. Everybody has the same cake, although we do experience it differently when we eat it. But when we make a decision, that's abstract. It's a noun that's abstract. We don't know what it is. I can say I made a decision, and it can mean something completely different and unique to me than it can for another person. So can you make a decision? You can decide something, but we shorthand our language and we talk about making the decision. Well, what did you decide? What was the action that you decided? Because to decide is to take an action. And so one of the things that I'd like you to think about with just this simple word, because there's tons of them, right? I mean, I wrote down a few just to give you an example. Relationship, decision, we just talked about, communication, motivation, stress. These are all nominalizations. We turned these verbs into things, but they are not things. You cannot put them in a wheelbarrow and take them with you to someplace else. And this is huge. Here's another one, discipline. It's not a thing in itself. Discipline is not a thing. You can't see it. It has no location, a weight, a size. It has no tangible qualities to it. And so therefore you could not put it into a wheelbarrow. Does that make sense? And if, for example, I say, I need more discipline, it sounds like it's a thing. It sounds like it's something that I can make, right? I want more discipline. I want more cupcakes. Oh, I can have more cupcakes, but can I have more discipline? Well, I can execute. I can do. I can execute more discipline. I can demonstrate. I can do something. I can take the action of verbing again. So I can take this idea of a noun and go, okay, I'm going to do and treat it like a verb. And this is huge, right? So we have emotion, and I have to emote. I'm going to emote. I'm going to do a action of feeling a way, right? And so it gets really weird. Our language gets really weird. We use the word happy, and happy can be an adjective to describe a feeling. So we're to feel. We are feeling, right? And so I can say I'm feeling how, and you describe it and you go happy. Happy is the adjective to the feeling. However, I'd like to simplify it and make it a little bit less complex. And in our mind, I want to say, let's just do happy. Let's do an emotional state instead of talking about it as a thing, right? And I know happy is a descriptive word. Obviously, it's an adjective, so we don't oftentimes do that. But I would like to take that adjective and turn it into a verb as well and say, let's do happy. Let's do sad. Let's do it on purpose. And for some of you out there, I understand that this is crazy. And I'm not proposing by any means that it's easy, because it's honestly, in some situations, it's terribly difficult to keep your composure or to control an emotion. Some people are really good at it in certain situations and really bad at it in other situations. It's all about what you practice. And I know you know people in certain situations, like the world could be falling apart around them and they can keep their composure and they just manage their emotions well. And you think, gosh, they are a rock. And in other situations, they might completely fall apart. And that's just how it is. It's where you practice. It's where you put effort and energy. But when we talk about nominalization, we talk about turning these verbs into nouns. And I'm not saying that it's totally bad. I'm saying that we've got to get intelligent and start to manage how we do that. And if we can manage how we do that, now, of course, life changes. Things change. Everything changes, because now you can actually get in the way of the process of something that you so effortlessly did, right? You anchored effortlessly, and you just said, okay, I've stopped working on the process. I just hit that anchor. I run that program, and now I made a decision. And now we have a hard time making a new decision. Right? And that's our language, right? I made this decision. Now, how can I make a different decision? Because that decision now has a personal feeling to it, an entity to it of its own life. And so instead, you need to decide something else again, decide something different. And that is the process of taking back your noun and verbing it. Well, I like this idea. I heard it a while back, and I like this idea. You have to start verbing again. Because although taking our verbs and turning them into nouns helps simplify in our world, sometimes the oversimplification has made things worse for us in our world. So we have to now take back our nouns. So let's start a campaign. Take back our nouns and turn them back into verbs. Not all of them, but just our abstract nouns. You can look, and a lot of nominalizations have the word or have the ending tion, shun. Like relation, nominalization, communication, motivation. So not all of them, right? Okay, but obviously there's other things like stress. Okay, that's we can turn that into a noun, and really it's a verb. Okay, so but you get the idea. You have to be able to identify some of these things, and we can do it little bits at a time, and we can start taking pieces at a time. And if you want help, there's coaching that you can get that we can help you understand your own nominalizations and help you turn them back into verbs where you're taking action. And when you can take action, you can take a different action. And that's huge. We got to take back our nouns. It's time to take back our nouns and start verbing a little bit more. And instead of doing this, we go and we start verbing as much as we can. Action, taking action. This is what we're after. So I know that's a little bit more complicated today, a little more technical, right? So I'm sorry to get a little bit deeper into that technical element, but sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes it's not just about the stories and the ideas behind, but the idea of actually taking something and doing it. So I'd love for you take a step, take an action. We're talking about verbing, right? So your action that I'd love to hear you take, and I'd love to hear some feedback from you of what you did. You can comment down below on if you're watching this on YouTube, comment down below. I'd love to hear some of the actions that you're going to take back. What nominalizations are you using? Right? And what are you going to take back, and what are you going to do? What actions are you going to take that are actually deciding or actually relating and not just relationship? Right? We just have a relationship. That's a nominalization. What are you going to do to start relating instead of just having a thing? You have a relationship. Okay, that's a thing. Bam. Let's take a how to relate. How are we going to relate better? Right? So I'd love to hear from you. Write in the comments below, and we'll read them and we'll respond. If you love the podcast, share it with somebody else that needs this. There are so many people out there that need to hear this. If you know somebody that needs to hear it, hey, this is free. Give it to them. Let them hear about it. And, if you haven't picked up a copy of my new book, check it out at everyminutebook.com. We'd love you to get a copy. In fact, I believe in it so much, and I know you're going to gain so much value. I'll pay for the book if you pay for the shipping. Hey, that's a good deal. Go take it up. everyminutebook.com. Go check it out. You'll hear about it on the outro as well. And we sure appreciate you coming to the podcast, and we will see you on the next podcast. Take care.
Hey lifers, we expect upgrades to the base operating functions of the things like our phones, cars, and even refrigerators. Why then has it not been made a priority that we upgrade the operating systems of our emotional states? We dance around the subject of emotional mastery from a young age. We have so much more knowledge in today's world, yet we're still teaching outdated methods of emotional education, if any are being taught at all. It's time for a change. It's time for an upgrade to our emotional education. Let me help you learn how to do that. Pick up your free copy of Every Minute at everyminutebook.com.